Okay.
Okay, and now we have the inevitable quiz.
Oh, okay. Let's see how I'm going. Okay, which of the following is most important for project management to focus on? Oh, with respect to change. D. D. Well, we don't track and record the change. We first inform our superiors of the change and it has to get approved. So I would choose D.
Well, and again, this is, you know, and they'll ask a lot of, you know, which is most important, what do you do first, what do you do next? The actual answer here is C, because it's the responsibility of the project manager to prevent unnecessary changes. So the changes are actually undertaken by the project team. So
oh, okay.
So
we always have change.
You want to prevent uncontrolled change, and then, but following quickly on that, on the heels, would be what you said, and that would be, you know,
uncontrolled change we try to prevent, but changes are a normal process of our projects because you're doing something and they see, it's like having construction done. They see something else that needs to be done along the way. It always seems to happen. But
yeah, I was going to say, I mean, you know, the inevitability of change is just about 100% certainty.
yeah.
Okay, question number 2.
Identify other resources. For me, it would be B.
Yes, and that is the correct answer, B. Because, and again, sometimes they give you a number of very feasible responses, but the first thing you have to do, so you've always got to be aware of what's the first thing you do, or if something happens, you know, if they say this happened first, what's the next thing that happens. So be aware of the ordering of things in terms of how you have to address those things.
Okay.
Because that's key to answering the questions. And the more practice tests you take, the better you'll become aware of how to answer the questions. You know, I think that's why it's so good to take a lot of practice tests, because the more familiar you become, just the better you get at it. You know, I don't know if you ever did newspaper crossword puzzles, but the more you do, the better you get, because you just
do them all the time.
Yeah, so the you know, you just sort of get into a rhythm of how they give the hints and the clues and how the other words fit together and things like that. So that's what you gain by taking a lot of practice tests for this test. Okay, question number 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just answering a message from Regina. Okay, customers known for requesting numerous changes.
Oh, well, and I mean, if you have to answer a message from Regina, go ahead.
It's okay.
I hope she's better.
A customer is known for requesting numerous changes to projects. You have been assigned as the project for this customer's new project. In the beginning of the project to manage this customer. B.
B, you are correct. Answer B is the right answer. And again, you might consider doing all the options listed, but obviously you want to involve the customer as early as possible. And so, again, there are often many right answers. So as I mentioned yesterday, and I think I mentioned on my Rogers Education Products Facebook page, I have some, hints of the day kind of for project management and taking the test. Begin with the end in mind and read all of the answers so that A, you know what to look for when you're reading the question, but B, so that you don't just jump on the first correct answer, because you are time pressured in taking the test, but you also want to make sure that you're being careful enough to read all, the important words like not or but or accept, but that also you're keeping track of, what's the best answer, not just a right answer. Okay, and then who performs project integration?
Who performs it? It would be, who performs the project integration? A.
Is that your final answer?
No, no, it is not. C.
I like that answer, C, but the answer here is ultimately the buck stops with the project manager. So because the project manager is ultimately responsible for project integration, the project manager is kind of the one who fulfills the project's requirements for integration, if that makes sense.
The team who performs it.
Well, and you're right, because the team really does, because obviously the project manager is not out there hammering nails or dumping concrete or laying carpet or whatever, but they're ultimately responsible for the overall integration of all the pieces into a whole that satisfies the requirements of the customer.
Is responsible. Yep.
Okay, next question.
It doesn't impact the project schedule. How could that be possible? This is a tough one, because how could you do something that does not impact the project schedule? Well, I guess if you're doing something all along. So I would do C.
So what is your answer?
I would do C. I wouldn't do the change.
Okay, actually the correct answer is B, and that is you have to look at the impact on all of the constraints, not just the schedule.
Oh, that's true. Oh, okay. That's why I was questioning. Yeah. I said, how could it not impact the project schedule?
Well, exactly, because again, we've got our triple constraint of scope, schedule, and cost. So the change must then change the scope and the cost.
Yes.
But basically, you need to evaluate the impact on the other project constraints. So in that case, it would be the cost and the scope.
And it's funny that I asked that. I said, how could it not impact anything else? Yes.
So your gut reaction is really very good, and then you talk yourself out of it. So
yeah, I did do that.
Yeah, so do remember to be true to your, to your original thought. And again, I would keep track of those kinds of things and see just how good your gut instinct is, because my perception is that it's very good, and I actually hear you. It's not just like you're thinking it in your head, but I hear you talking yourself out of it.
Yeah.
So do be aware of that. Okay, next question.
it? Oh. What would you do? Well, I would say that I could meet with the team, but I would first, before I meet with the team, let's see, but the customer informs you that he is not happy with the performance of the project. Well, the team might not necessarily know the customer's concerns, so I would meet with the project sponsor and discuss the customer's concerns with him first. Then get together with the team.
Well, actually, in this case, the answer is A. So since the customer is directly informing you that he is not happy, it's best to discuss it with the team before doing anything else. Because you've kind of already, you've had input from the
customer.
Yeah, from the customer.
Okay.
Okay, question 7.
All right, this is an interesting one because he did this after hours and it doesn't add a lot of value to the solution. No. I would do B.
You are correct. B is the right answer. So, again, the importance of documenting the change is paramount in this scenario. And again, it needs to be tested to make sure that there's not an effect to other parts of the system. And again, discussing things with stakeholders and getting things right and on paper and well understood across the project is important, because obviously this may not have been. So, if it was a hallway conversation. Okay, last question of this section, not last question of the day even.
Yeah. A.
Okay, so A?
Yeah, because it runs integration management, crosses all areas.
Uh-huh. Very good.
So, yes, it crosses all areas. So I would choose A.
Very excellent. Good job. Okay, so the key takeaways from this section are that project integration management unifies, consolidates, articulates, and integrates actions crucial to the success of completing the project. And integrating the project is obviously a key role of the project manager, whereas the project team focuses on completing the project activity, and the project sponsor protects the team against unsolicited changes, or at least you hope the project sponsor is in the role of protecting the team against unsolicited changes. So you can kind of take that back, to reflect that into some of the questions that we were just discussing. Benefit measurement methods ascertain the costs and benefits of undertaking the project, while constrained optimization methods rely on mathematical modeling to select the best projects that achieve business objectives. So again, make sure you understand which ones are the constrained optimization methods, like linear programming, and which ones are the mathematical modeling is like linear programming, and which ones are the constrained optimization methods. And be sure you know, and again, I would suggest for your brain dump, things like net present value, bigger the better, internal rate of return, the bigger the better, payback period, small.
Opportunity.
Yeah, opportunity cost is just the one opportunity, the best opportunity that you didn't take. And benefit cost ratio, bigger is better, but it's got to be bigger than 1. Okay, well, there goes my throat. Okay, so various project integration management processes remember, all 5 of the process groups, so this is the only knowledge area that crosses all 5. And the processes we have in the integration area are develop the project charter, and that makes sense because that's very early life cycle. Develop the project management plan, again, and we saw that the output of that was the project management plan itself. Direct and manage project work, which of course is in the executing phase, the executing process. Manage project work. Monitor and control project work, which is obviously monitoring and controlling. Perform integrated change control, which is a key thing that we need to do, and again, because it has the control word, that's in monitoring and controlling. And then close project or phase. So basically, that spans the whole gamut, and of course, close project or phase is the only process in